So, previously, the group of you fought off whatever things were assailing the Skyfire clan during the evening. These specters, spirits, monstrous, undead, perhaps. That, the second wave of which seemed to be these 17-foot tall, lumbering amalgamations of wicked nature that have the ability to mimic sounds that Elrast and Aeolus aptly found out. And Siegfried, you had a crisis of faith, shall we call it, albeit faith in your own self, when you realized that you sent your two phalanxes under your command to go guard the flank that they were on instead of coming to aid, and you left them, in your eyes, undefended for the large creature that assailed them. A group of you have decided to set out in pursuit of Chief Frothy's proposition. If you can find a way to stop these attacks, these nightly attacks upon the clan once and for all, he will happily part with the heirloom that the group of you have recognized as a Bodemall stone. This is where we're picking up, as the tribe has some plans for how to defend themselves most aptly over the next few nights, at least, whilst they still have material to burn.
Before we
Where
head
are you
out,
going to begin?
did the bloody pup disappear? I can't remember. Did it
No,
just stay
no. The bloody pup
away?
was guarding the hyena pit.
Okay. Yeah, I'm just asking if I have to resummon it.
You do not know.
Okay. Um, I guess we are walking and talking in direction southeast.
Yeah, I think we were heading towards the last known location of the orc party that disappeared, right?
Yeah.
You did learn that there was one of the hunting parties over the long winter had gone missing and not returned. By your reckoning, they had left close to 2 months ago, and they were due to return about 210 day after that and failed to do so, likely because of a particularly vicious blizzard that blew into this region during that time, and none of them ever returned.
I think that's what we agreed on, yeah. Going that direction. Yeah.
Let me drop you guys on the kingdom map.
Well, and we also have learned that they seemingly do not cross over running water.
The specters, at the very least, yes. You do not know about these large creatures. The specters, shambling corpses, spirits, ghouls, what have you. The clan has informed you that the small tributary river that flows past the clan seems to be a natural defense against those. As such, they only typically place defenses on three flanks, and that's been successful. They don't know, and you don't know, if these large creatures will cross water.
And they attack the camp from all sides.
Mm-hmm.
From the south, the southeast, the east, and the northeast.
One was at the entrance where Willem was guarding. One was on the northeast where Helleras was guarding, and one was southwest where Siegfried was guarding. So
Whatever we think. The only thing that I want us to get on board before we start traveling is as soon as the trail, if there is one, starts to go cold. I don't want to leave the tribe to wither away.
Sounds like something Aeolus would do.
So your thought, if I recall correctly, was to travel southeast, or south by southeast, correct? Into this direction. Okay.
Yeah. I mean, Chief Rofi must know where. Not exactly, but at least in some direction they went, and then maybe we pick up a trail.
Yeah. You did ask that question actually.
Yeah.
And he did say that they set off south by southeast. I think that's why you
Yeah.
picked it.
And then he followed the game, or
Yeah.
the deer.
Alright, so let's head out.
Okay. Can I have a marching order, please? Arrange yourselves on the front page. I'm going to move you to it.
I will go second
left-
after
left,
the helming
arrange,
one.
arrange yourselves left to right.
I imagine Siegfried would be in front because he's going to be tracking. But before we go, could I perhaps ask the chief or Goodlung if they had any spare incense?
Certainly. Roll me a D100. 70 and higher, they have some for you. Wow.
Never saw
Starting off in rare form tonight, Siegfried. Today.
that. They take some from you for that one.
Wow.
Oh, wow. All right, perfect. Fantastic. Okay. No, they do not, unfortunately.
No, I hope that's not a bad omen.
Not even that they don't have any to spare, they have nothing. You see most of Goodling's supplies, she keeps in like a medicine bag as she's going around tending to people before you leave. And it looks like mostly like poultices and things like that. Nothing that probably burns well. No, he had started it. Now he has to go pick it up.
Oh, okay. I was gonna say,
Yeah.
is this the second or third cup? Jeez, dude.
All right. All right. So leading the expedition is Dunnan in the front, followed by.
I said I go second because I'm
Okay.
not.
Arrange
Dunnan is
yourselves left to right. Who's ever gonna go first? Put it.
Yeah.
Okay. So Willem in the middle of pack, Helleras bringing up the rear.
Yep.
Okay. There we go.
I
Okay.
have been reading so much manga lately that I innately read it the opposite way.
Oh my god. Alright. Alright, that means Aeolus is the one that gets trapped instead of Dunnan. I need Siegfried to give me a perception or survival check, your choice. This is an overtime thing for several hours. So you could use, if you're doing survival just to get your heading, you could use enhance ability or your dragon form on something like that. But over time, it will degrade naturally.
I will start with my dragon form.
Okay.
Use a charge of that.
Alright.
And so the first roll, it can't be below a 10.
Can't below 10. Okay. While he's doing that, Dunnan and Hellerast, I need perception checks from the two of you, please.
Yeah. Okay.
And then Aeolus and Willem, I need perception checks with disadvantage from the two of you.
Could we just go back a little bit in time? Would I have been able to acquire a piece of cloth to let the bloody pup smell, maybe to get a scent?
Of these creatures?
Yeah, of this hunting parties.
As
They're
you
hunting.
as you go around in the morning, you are able to adequately confirm Chief Ferofi's tale the evening before, or at the beginning of the evening, pardon me, that these things leave virtually no remnants. Everything that they have turns to ash.
Not the creatures, the hunting party that went missing. I
Oh,
don't
the
know if
hunting
they-
party. My mistake.
Yeah.
Roll me a persuasion check with advantage.
Okay.
Okay. You do acquire not a piece of cloth. I'm gonna bring the pup onto the screen also. Not a piece of cloth, but pup's actually large, but that works. A talisman that the individual whom you saw mourning her brother, she provides you with a talisman of his that he had carved for her, as like a token of good luck while he's out hunting for the clan. It's the best that they have, but it was handled by him a lot because it was hand carved, so it's better than nothing. Very good thoughts. So you have that for the pup.
Let it sniff. Boy, come on, boy. Search for us. That's it.
Okay. Alright, I'll bear that in mind. Okay, so Siegfried, your survival check. So that's a 17 to start with, right? For your heading.
Yep, 17.
Okay, perfect. Hellerast, you did not have disadvantage, so you have a 16.
Right.
And Dunnan had 20. Okay. And then Aeolus and Willem in the middle of the pack. You have a disadvantage because Hellerast is scanning around and behind after noise is passed. Dunnan is scanning ahead while Siegfried trailblazes, but the two of you are sort of caught in the middle of this sound, so to speak. Makes it a little bit harder. Let me move you guys to the kingdom map. The first few hours of this day, you did wake up about an hour after sunset and took another hour until you set out. So 2 of your daylight hours have been burnt. You are full rested, Willem. So just make sure you're full rested.
Thank you.
Yep. The first few hours pass quietly. The pup is having trouble getting any type of scent. This doesn't make me just a intelligence or actually a nature check. That's an intelligence check.
Oh boy.
Siegfried, for the next few hours, I would like a survival check from you. This is as you're traveling. Someone else can't help you with this. What you're doing with this is sort of trying to figure out what trails they might have taken, what paths they might have taken.
Sure. This time I'm gonna enhance ability myself.
Okay.
Did you say that someone is able to help?
Yeah, someone's able to help.
I'll help them.
Oh,
Okay.
if someone's able to help, I won't enhance ability then.
Okay.
I thought you said they couldn't help.
Oh no, they can. They could. Pardon me.
Yeah. So if Aeolus is helping me, I get to roll with advantage, correct?
Yes. Or you can each roll. Those are out.
I'll roll with advantage. I think I have a better
Sounds good. Go for it.
rival mod than Aeolus. Here we go.
Okay. As you get further away from the clan's campgrounds, the winter grounds, you're picking out, and Aeolus, you've wandered some in your time. This isn't typical terrain for you, but the skills translate rather well still. You're able to pick out sort of small paths that animals might take through the plains that would just be less circuitous, more direct paths, from one food source to a water source, so on and so forth. About noon, maybe a little bit after, you find a sort of patch of sort of grassy remnants that's sort of been like chewed and nibbled, and you're able to pick out, seeing that some of the grasses have been broken. Likely not by this party, but evidence that there's some animals that still wander around these parts. And it's these small hints that you're getting, the two of you are able to pick out here and there, that help sort of guide your path. Since you can't, it's been over a month and a season change since the original trail would have been left. It's destroyed by the elements. You are making do with what you have available to you. It's going all right. Willem, since Aeolus is no longer keeping an eye out, but you rolled really well on your perception either way. Anyway, as you're walking, you're just sort of plodding along behind them. What are your thoughts at that moment?
I didn't have the opportunity to listen to last week's conclusions. I apologize.
Okay.
But I feel like he's probably still downcast and uncomfortable with a lot of things within the party. So he's probably being introspective, which would put him in the mood to just be looking for his favorite thing, something to cook.
Okay.
So he's like, maybe I can make this meal. No, I could make this meal. You know,
All right.
basically being a emo kid.
Got it. Okay. Your focus is inward. And later in the day, you stumble, almost trip over something in half sunken into the dirt.
So to give a kick at it, investigate if
Sure. Make me
time is given.
a strength check.
Oh yes, my strong point.
Go 20.
9, not bad. Wasn't the high DC or anything. You give a swift kick to whatever it was that you just tripped over. And you hear a crack as you think that you've like kicked a stick or something like that. You've been moving through mostly grassland all day though. Very, very few trees. And when you hear that crack, you sort of turn, look. Sticking up out of the ground, now fractured, is the remnants of some type of animal bone, it looks like.
Animal
Single-
bones.
Yeah, like a single bone that was sort of half sunken into the ground, and you tripped over sort of the knobby end of this animal bone, probably some appendage. And you've now snapped it off at a thinner part higher up, which would be actually lower in the ground slightly.
So that's exactly what he would state. Animal bones. I thought it was a stick. That's less weird.
Yeah, like
Animal bones.
They were a hunting party, so
Perhaps we
Like-
found their camp. They would have had a camp to skin the animals.
bone sort of looks like that after you've kicked it.
It's probably all broke like a stick.
Can I do like a nature check to see if I
Sure.
can identify the animal this came from?
Medicine check, but yeah.
Medicine check. Okay.
Yeah. I would say if it was like an external feature like a pelt or antlers or maybe even teeth, it'd be nature, but yeah, natural 20. You recognize this based on the shape, the length, the width. It's not something you've seen particularly, but you're as sure as you possibly could be that this likely belonged to one of the deer that you spotted about a 10-day ago when you were traveling on the other end of the plains. You're fairly positive that this was at least some time ago one of those deer. With a natural 20 check, though, you're also able to ascertain this has been here quite a while. Maybe 50, 60 days. Like, it's exposed to the elements, but it hasn't been, like, broken open up until this point, and, like, the marrow sort of consumed by scavengers. Gather was probably partially buried to help preserve it a little bit. It's been here a while.
But there's a realization that it was purposely buried, not just like accidentally there.
Seems to be.
I
And then
tell,
weather has exposed it.
yeah,
Re-exposed it.
I tell Dunham and Willem and Aeolus, Halivir, that we need to start digging. I think we found a cache.
Digging.
They buried this bone to preserve it. There may be more down there.
So what do we do with a pile of bones?
It might not just be bones. They were going to
Yeah.
come back here. That was the plan. They buried these bones so predators couldn't get them.
You,
Their plan was to come back to this cache.
It's a clue, Dunnan. It's a clue.
You turn around and Willem has unceremoniously excavated a large pit of earth immediately that's now being scattered.
That's
There
No, I mean, that's
There.
pretty cool.
It's dug.
Yes, I imagine digging a 6-foot hole is very difficult.
yeah, Camperine Lake's got nothing on Willem.
That is useful.
Within a minute, the group of you are able to find, with Willem's exceptional help here, most of the parts of what you could think it pieced together is the rest of what was a deer at one of these deer at a previous point.
Just a pile of bones.
You do not see any remnants of any type of meat or anything like that.
Do we see any indication of the group? Perhaps, like, I don't know, weapons or...
Make me an investigation check.
I'll let Aeolus deal with that. Aeolus, do you see anything?
I'll take a look.
Okay, nice roll. You guys are coming through where it matters here. You don't see any weapons. However, Aeolus, as you're sort of pouring through everything, you do see a few tool marks on the bones. It looks like some serrations here and there, nicks. It looks like these bones were processed by tools, or at least were part of a process.
Hey, Reed, you may be onto something. It looks like the meat was stripped from the bone before they were put in the ground. Here, look. And I'll show him all the tool marks.
So I thought, so at least we know they were here, but this was... That bone had been sticking out of the ground for probably about 50 or 60 days.
Yeah, it was definitely a marker to lead them back to their cache.
It's 50 to 60 days of
Death.
degradation to the bone, not necessarily stuck out of the ground for 50 to 60 days.
Okay.
It also could mean that they took all the meat with them and buried the bones to not leave a trail.
Yeah.
It's possible, but these bones are also valuable as well. I'm sure
Aren't they
you
supposed to bring back the deer, the meat for the others? Not eat it all by themselves?
Yes, that's a good question too, but
Pretty sure I think they have to bring back more than one deer.
I don't know, not about hunting around. Usually they just come back at the evening, right? Not venture out for more than a few
It
days or a week.
depends. If you're hunting for a whole tribe, and I
Yeah,
imagine
that's a
they hunt over a series of days probably, and they have a camp where they keep the meat to skin it, and then from there they bring it back on sleds, I assume.
yeah, I mean, the fact that they were only missed after 10 days, like what we need to go find them after 10 days, tells me that they were going to be out there a while. And was it still cold? There was a blizzard, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, you do
Yeah.
recall it was the middle of winter.
Yeah. Well,
I think
so it was
this-
cool enough for them to keep the meat fresher
Yeah.
while they were out. So yeah, they were going to go for a while.
Are there any parts of the skeleton or of the bones that we can like quickly piece together to see if there's any part of the animal that isn't here?
Sure. Make me maybe another investigation check. This is intelligence based. I'll say it's that easy. Yeah. You get about maybe 3/5, maybe close to 4/5 of the skeleton together. You're missing quite a few ribs, and one of the legs and the lower jaw, but you are able to put together the form sort of on the ground in as like a silhouette almost of this deer at one point. It does appear to be quite small. It doesn't stand more than about 3 foot at its what should be its shoulder, based on where the bones are. Let's say Fried's medicine check in identifying it previously. It's not a large animal, and it's actually quite smaller than the deer that the group of you had seen previously on the far end of the plains.
So, what is this deer smaller because it was a younger deer, or is it just a different type of deer that's smaller?
For a female.
I mean, it very well could be something that if this was the hunting party, they took it for them.
Well, I was just saying that so the deer we saw on the plain were bigger. If this deer is just a smaller variant of it, perhaps we can narrow down where they were hunting.
Yeah, the one that you saw was, based on your guess, was maybe 4.5 feet at its shoulder.
Yeah. Because if there's like a variant of these smaller deer that live in a specific area, we can at least check that out, you know.
I'll make a nature check, Siegfried.
Okay. Let me double check some stuff. This time I'm going to wild shape and enhance ability for intelligence.
Okay, your enhance ability, intelligence. Were you wild shaping?
Sorry, going to dragon form.
Okay, got it.
Yeah.
I was like, what animal are you taking the form of?
This seems important, so I wanted to
Okay,
work on.
got it.
So advantage, and I can't roll below a 10.
Okay. All right, so that's an 11, right?
I believe so. Yeah.
Okay. As you sort of think to yourself, muttering the spell under your breath, and the stars appear across your form, no thought of any other types of deer of which you know inhabit the plains. That said, I mean, it was a long winter. It could have been young. It could have been malnourished. There's a lot of other explanations that come to your mind for one of those same deer being smaller of form.
Okay. Yeah, I just shrug at Aeolus. I don't know enough about this.
I think it's thresh deer, correct? No.
Yeah.
Yeah, I believe that's what you said last time.
No. Yeah.
So, the only question I have, if you're a hunting party, you're out here to gather enough for your tribe, and it's winter. At some point, you want to venture to a spot where the vegetation and the trees are more dense for
You need firewood.
that and for larger game.
So, Secret would take out the map. Where would be the closest area someone would be able to find firewood in relation to the spot we're at?
We would continue southeast.
The best idea we have, I guess.
Okay. Group, you set out from your skeleton.
Would any of you like to take any of these bones?
Oh dear.
No. I just let's just let nature reclaim it. But Siegfried would just lay a kami charm in the pit and do his standard prayer to hope that the kami will help us find this party.
Fine. Make me a religion check, please. Filling the pit back in, Willem.
Correct.
Okay.
I actually think because of my dragon form, I have a 10.
Yeah.
So it's a
11.
11, yeah.
Okay. Off you go. Ruminating on thoughts as you progress. The sun starts to set far in the west. You see it approaching the silhouettes of the things that you can really only see from where you are at the moment. Very, very late in the day. The shapes of the Cloud Spine Mountains. Hazy, barely visible, only in relief as the lower half of a toothy jaw starts to close towards the sun. Who is looking for camp?
I will do my standard druid craft to see what the weather is going to be like overnight.
It is going to be warm, comfortable, not raining, and no clouds.
Okay, and then I would just try and find just a sort of defensible position in case we get attacked overnight again.
Sure.
Yep. I'll help out with that.
Alright, roll me each you roll me a survival check, or one of you at advantage.
I can do it at advantage, I think.
Sure. 13. You find a decent spot. It's okay, is what it is. There's nothing to sing about. There's a very small berm, and that's about the best that you're able to find in the area. As the light begins to fade rapidly, is there anything that anyone would like to accomplish during this evening?
Yes. At some point when we have finally finished with setting up the camp, Danen would approach Eolus and would say, "So, I think it's about time you fill us in a little bit about your background. I mean, you have some affiliations with the Dragonborn, but could you fill in the gaps a little bit?"
Yeah, hold on one sec. As we are setting up camp,
Mhm.
Aelus wants to dig two holes. One is upwind from the other, and he wants to put their fire in one of the holes, and he'll connect the two holes underground so that their fire is more so less visible from the distance.
Okay.
So
For those of you who don't know what Aeolus is doing, he's making what's called a Dakota fire pit. And this is just what I like as far as
Yep.
So there's fire coming out of this one, and the air gets pulled in here to feed the fire. So the fire stays super hot because it's pulling the air through by vacuum, and that burns off smoke.
Sounds good to me. Don't know why we haven't been doing this for the whole time, but
Sure, Aeolus. You are able to do so easily enough. Get one
we
about
haven't-
a foot wide,
awesome.
a foot in radius.
Uh,
Pardon me, 2 feet wide.
The group would first notice that Aeolus is much more aware than usual. He's not as tense, but he's much more open and in his natural habitat. The Order of the Iron Fang. They're a sect of blood hunters. We came over to Equan years ago, back when I was a child. Most spread out from Droucia. Seems that they have found residence at Armskirk. What do you want to know?
You're still with them, or did you split, or do you know the Dragonborn that was or is missing? Do they usually send someone if someone goes missing? If anything would be helpful.
So we are rangers in a sense, but we tend to deal with your darker, your fae, your fiends, and
Abnormal stuff.
yes, we are
All right.
specialists. We are who you call in if you're having issues. When I was here, when I was sent here, they took special interest within the Pinwood. So the Pinwood is my assignment. I am to learn of it. I am to gather if there are secrets. And then it was to make a Quan home. So I found home with Blackburn. And fell into a system. Investigate the Pinwood, do what I need to, monitor if there were any changes. And there wasn't. up until recently.
And you message them from time to time, or?
I've attempted a few letters, but no one except for maybe Storm Surge know of my my affiliation or my membership with the Iron Fang. And I've met Fen a couple of times. I know one other Dragonborn that is up in Armskirk. If you think I am an asshole, he's much worse.
Really looking forward to meet him.
Yeah,
Oh,
he's much more of a playful asshole, from what I remember. But that was a while ago. But if the tribe requested a specialist and Fen disappeared, my bet is that Fen went out to look for these after the attack. Or my hope is that is what happened. She needed more information. She either got in over her head, or she was
I mean,
hated.
you saw those creatures. I mean, going up against them alone is suicide. I mean, I don't know how capable she was, but I don't think anybody can go alone against that one.
Self-preservation really isn't our thing.
Yeah,
It is to get answers.
Yeah.
And to get
Being stirred is not one of your fortitude. Yeah, that's right.
Well, I mean, I slice myself up in order to strengthen myself.
Yeah, that's pretty contradicted, pretty weird. But well, I'm drinking to improve my prowess, so who I am to judge? Or at least I think I do.
Although this conversation does pack in a fine segue into a conversation about the group. And Aeolus will Willem.
You look up. You do not see Willem.
I'm gonna fucking kill the kid.
Make me a perception check, please.
That was great.
You see about 80 yards away, just barely, Willem's head poking up above the grass. He's just looking off into the distance, away from the group. About 80 feet outside the camp.
Aeolus will just stand up slowly and will point over to where he is. I thought we talked about this. At the highest that his voice can go.
We discussed.
Right. So come back here so
I'm
we
resting.
can talk.
Fine. Give me 15 minutes to finish my prayers.
You don't pray?
Says who?
We have been traveling for a few weeks. I've never seen you pray. We're not having to. You know what? And Aeolus is just gonna start walking over.
Give me power if you can see her. Oh, darkness, please. God damn it! Fine. He gets up, and stalks back to the party right before you can get to him.
Haley, if you had to go to the bathroom, just say so.
I was meditating, looking for more power and more spells.
Okay, that's a conversation that we have to have. You draw your power from this, don't you?
Look where I am. Come here.
I don't know where the power comes from. I found a book in the dark.
Okay.
After I started to read it, I could see in the dark and cast spells. So I assume yes. Then I found another book
Well, that's
in the dark, and the same thing happened. And then I was in the dark where you found me, and it was comfortable.
And there were
Nerf.
creepy shit, like a full skeleton that sat next to you.
You thought it was creepy. I thought it felt like home.
You know what? Here, let's go back to camp. We're not going to talk about you sitting in the dark or the skeleton. We'll keep that between us.
Goes back to the camp and just quietly serves. Well, probably would beckon over at excuse me, Dunnan. Bag.
Right.
Beer, 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 food. Good night.
So the group of us need to have a chat if we're going to venture and step into much more dangerous territory.
Okay.
Willem, air your concerns and your problems. Tell us what is wrong, our young traveling companion. Or young-ish looking. I don't know how old you are.
And you think I'm childish, so I'm not childish now, and I am getting more powerful, and you can't stop me. Clearly in a childish way.
Well, okay. First off, we saw you as childish. Yes, we do. You don't have much experience in this. Getting more powerful and we can't stop you. That's right there kind of bothers me. I don't know if it bothers anyone else.
I said you can't stop me from becoming more powerful. Not so you can't stop me.
And then this whole attitude thing, this you being quiet and emo and not as bubbly. It wasn't the bubbly personality that was the hindrance. And Aeolus will look at Hellerast, Tanin, and Siegfried. We have
At
to
this
work
point,
as one.
Willem would have gestured at the dirt behind him to kind of form a lump, and he sits down. Yes, tell me all the ways that I am not perfect for this party. Please, go ahead, and would gesture with his hand.
I was just going to say I don't think Willem is doing anything wrong exploring his nature.
Yeah.
If he hasn't broken any laws, if he wants to get stronger, that's his prerogative. And I mean, when you talk, I know some of the things he does may seem unusual from the outside, but I mean, when I was younger, I liked spending time in the cold quite a bit, and people called me weirdo for that. And I just hope Willem can forgive me for being short with him. I was speaking to him like a relative versus a ally, and I apologize, Willem.
The fault is not yours. It is clearly mine. It is nothing. And then again, just gestures as if it were nothing.
I mean, I don't understand what this whole business of fault is coming from. You didn't blame me for anything, Willem.
This is
I
how
think he's
this is
I
how the
think-
numbers air their grievances.
I think he's a great asset to the party, as seen in the last battle, Aeolus.
That's what I'm
But-
trying to clarify with you, Willem. I'm not one of the numbers, and I don't appreciate being treated like one of them. I thought you left the numbers to leave that system.
Yes, well,
Mhm.
all habits die hard. Before I was the named child, I remember I tried to throw several nasty spells and tricks at he who was named before me. Perhaps I will rethink it.
I mean, sibling rivalries happen. I mean, I remember one of my brothers trapped me in an abandoned mine shaft once. Thought that was pretty funny. Couldn't even see past my nose. But again, we're not the numbers, and we're not your siblings.
I thought
I don't, and I don't fault anyone here. Things go south all the time out here.
What is your concern, Aeolus? That he rose too powerful, or I mean, we are his companions. We will keep him in check if he goes overboard.
Oh no,
And
I don't have any concerns about where he draws his power from. You know, my concern is if we don't fall in line and act as a group, as a unit, it's going to get one of us killed. That's my concern.
Well, I promise that I
That
will
makes sense.
I will do everything I can for the well-being of the group, including Willem, because Willem is my dear comrade, regardless of whatever we call ourselves. And I will stand up and I reach out my hand towards Willem.
Willem shakes it and then says, myself and Naeolus have reached Star. Well, perhaps not a friendship. He has told me he is a grumpy old man. I accept that.
You don't even need a half of it. I had to bunk with him a few times. You're a much better roommate.
It's not the first time I've heard that.
Fine, I'll make Milwaukee bacon again.
And I mean, if you need help finding ingredients, just let me know. You can at least keep an eye out for it.
Yes, the party should.
And I mean, is there anything you want from us, Willem? I mean, do you want me to do? What I'm asking is there something you want me to change in how I act in the party?
Oh. I think I am just learning to not squabble. But perhaps on our way home or later on in the adventures, we can explore a site I found where Aeolus found me. Felt so very homey. I'd love to go there again.
Yeah, that's something we have to mark off our list when we're on our way back.
Well, if you
Oh.
and Aeolus want to investigate something, then I don't see why we shouldn't. It obviously must be important.
well, first let's help those orc tribes, and after that, William, we can look into your site. All right?
Yes,
On our
of
way
course.
back.
The needs of the many first. My family has spoken of it many times. I am sorry that I let my childness get ahead of myself, and in that sense, I will correct my behavior.
Enough
Oh,
about
it's all right. You got a little bit of our tempers, but so does everybody. But next time, yeah? We are here for you, buddy.
It is something that you grow out of. It comes with experience.
And I mean, you grew up with a lot of siblings. I mean, I can't imagine how tough it must have been. There's loud noises. Oh boy.
And they literally gave him a number for a name. I can't. I know you love your parents, Willem, but that's not something I can ever agree with.
Bye.
I think it is the tradition of the eldest living child to become the adventurer and carry forth the family's name. We do not talk about it outside of the family often.
I mean, my eldest brother was supposed to be a miner, and they didn't give us the numbers, but I guess to each their own. But if you ever have trouble with your family, Willem, you know you can talk to us, right? And I mean, worst comes to worst, you can always bunk with me.
Or with me. Or with the bloody pup if you want.
The dog just lifts up one of its ears, huh? And then
Yeah,
slouches back
you.
next to the fire. Mm.
Willem would probably look about as happy as he can at the moment and would try to use magic to bind the patch back onto his clothing. I don't know if there's a way to do it, but he'd be trying.
Easily. Do you have mending?
No.
Then you have a little bit of work to go, but you're able to do it over the downtime that you have during your watch, if you so choose.
Hillerast will go by and sit next to him real quick and just. She'll say, "You know how I'm a shaman? Well, I haven't been a shaman very long, so I'm still learning that too. Nobody ever really knows what the hell I'm doing with it, but just so you know, you're not the only person trying to figure your shit out."
Thank you. I believe perhaps we can achieve supremacy together.
I don't know about supremacy, but we'll at least be good parts of the team, okay?
Absolutely.
You are more than a cook. I want you to know that. We appreciate that you cook for us. But last night you showed us how much more you can do. And I don't think any of us is going to just think of you as little Willem anymore, even if we're cranky.
I do make
So can
comfortable
you-
chairs as well. And he would gesture again and make her a chair of dirt.
Thank you. But yeah, we may get cranky and bitchy and stuff, but we could saw what you did. But that also means you need to step up a little bit and become the person you should be, not the person you've always been.
Of course. Well,
Okay.
let us continue cooking dinner then. I think from
Absolutely.
like now on, you'll see Willem basically using cantrips and whatever spells he can, just constantly. You know, if we're making a stew, you'd see him using like shape water to stir things like that, kind of in his own way of trying to strengthen his powers.
Okay. Siegfried's taking the last watch. Who's taking? What is the watch order?
Donovan will go first with the bloody pup.
Okay.
I'll take.
Like the darkest part of the night.
Okay. So third watch for Willem. Aeolus second.
Yep.
All right. Hellerast, you are not required to take a watch, but you can. Which one would you like to be on, if you so choose?
Whichever one nobody else wants to be on.
Well, all of them are covered for a long rest, so
She'll still stay. Does Willem taking a
he's taking
watch?
third. Yeah.
She'll sit with Willem.
Okay. First watch done. You and your pup. I'd like a perception check from each of you, please.
Do I have? Oh, cool. Yes.
And the pup can
So-
roll advantage
Oh,
if you're assuming it's smelling.
it's the pup.
A very comfortable watch for you. As everyone sort of settles in, you get to utilize the dirty chairs that Willem created for himself and Hellerest previously. It's comfortable. The environment stays relatively warm. Spring's truly sprung. and the sounds of insects of the twilight slowly die away. Donan, I'd like a wisdom save from you, please.
Okay.
Okay. You pay fairly rapt attention to your surroundings, listening for sounds, knowing that the pup's awake even if it's laying down next to the fire, that you feed every now and then to keep going. And you prevent any types of intrusive thoughts from really distracting you from your duty at hand. Your watch passes uneventfully. Second watch, Aeolus. Perception check, please. And a wisdom save, please. Aeolus, maybe about half an hour after Dunnan rouses you, you've tended to the fire, you've nibbled a little bit on the leftover meal that Willem had created previously. Still fantastic, even if it's slightly cooler. As the fire went down to about ashes by the time Dunham was finished up. You stoke it again, keep it going. Once you finally actually have the chance to sit down and start scanning the horizon, listening for sounds, and you're left with your own thoughts, you start wondering what the Skyfire clan is doing at that moment. How they're surviving. Who's gotten injured as the fire worked to keep those creatures at bay. What are those things? Where do they come from? The thoughts stay with you. It makes the watch quite difficult, and before you know it, you see the stars have shifted, and it's time to wake up Willem and Hellerast.
Before I wake them, I'm gonna take a few pages of my journal, and I'm just gonna write a few things, and I'll wake them.
Okay. Hellerast, Willem, you're stirred to consciousness.
Mm-hmm.
Take a perception checks on both of you, please.
Give me 2 seconds here, actually. Is that at advantage or disadvantage? I apologize.
Straight roll.
Or just normal?
Willem, can you give me a wisdom save as well, please?
Yes, of course.
You are both preoccupied with the thoughts. Willem, you're the one that notices it. About an hour into your watch, maybe 40 minutes or so, 45 minutes before you need to wake Siegfried. The same intrusive thoughts have sort of preoccupied both of your minds, whether you converse or not about it over the course of this watch. How the Skyfire clan fares. The fact that you resting here in comfort and safety is at their expense. Maybe the expense of lives. It's a heavy burden that sort of settles into both of your minds.
I think Willem would have been feeling extra depressed because he was planning on having an L on this watch. Just feeling the guilt.
Do you choose to?
Have an L?
Yeah.
Absolutely. He's going to feel guilty as hell about it.
Okay.
He he has this idea. He wants to try to use his shape water to see if he can cool it down. He's like, perhaps Dunny would like this. Let me see if I can do this.
Sure, give it a shot. Drop a shape water into chat, please.
Yeah, it's a nifty one because it's supposed to be like a 5 foot square thing of blah blah blah, and you can freeze it.
Freeze the water, provide there are creatures in it, unfreezes in 1 hour. Make me a charisma check. That's your spellcasting ability. Just a charisma check. I thought you gave the liquor to the clan.
The liquor, yeah, but we also had a whole cask of beer in there. We had a ton of booze.
Yeah.
Put a little bit of money out on that.
Yeah. Pretty good.
Sorry, that was an accident. Apologies.
Oh, good. It gets reasonably chilled in the mug that you pull from your cooking supplies. When you go to take a sip, I'll ask you're conscious at the same time. You notice this after Willem does. You go to take a sip, Willem, and you hear a sound coming from your left. See Siegfried, Aeolus, and Dunnan all sort of in their sleeping bags. Aeolus, particularly, is sort of tossing and turning. The sound that you heard was shivering, chattering teeth. And as you go to take a sip of that ale that you've brought down to just above freezing, the top has ice formed upon it. And you notice at this point, the air around you has grown unnoticeably cold. It is... You didn't notice this happening, but now that you sort of had physical clues around your environment, you feel goosebumps rise up on your arms. It is chilly, quite cold. Helloras, you notice him looking around at this point, and then also take note of the cold air. Freezing.
The hell is happening?
Yes.
Is there a storm coming?
Siegfried had said it was going to be warm tonight. I figured it would be the perfect evening to try this new cold ale idea I have.
Something's not right. That didn't feel right. There's no wind, really.
There's not.
Helloras is going to just look around. Of course, she got a 7, so she's not seeing anything, but...
You can roll another perception check. As you stand up, you're now taking note of something.
Should we perhaps wake up
There's nothing else to...
the rest?
There's nothing in the vicinity, Helloras, that you see.
Okay, well... I don't like it.
But I have this great idea. Donnie, quick! Try this ale. It's cold and delicious. He just yells at.
If you yell it, that wakes everyone up.
Yeah, it was my great idea.
No, everyone's awake.
Was Siegfried able to get a long rest, or no?
Not yet. No.
Okay. I won't change
Most
it.
unable.
Siegfried, you said it was supposed to be warm all night? It's cold. Also, Donnie, try this cold ale. It would be better if it were warm.
It's cold.
What?
Yeah.
Siegfried starts feeling the temperature.
It is freezing cold.
I just Aeolus, wake up. Something's happening.
Oh no.
Everyone, make a perimeter. What's out there?
Aeolus activates his Crimson Right.
Okay, on spear.
Would I have at least been able to get the benefits of a short rest?
Sure.
Okay. At least get my wild shapes back.
I would like to take my nose to the air and see if I can smell that irony.
Give me a perception check with advantage.
Helarast is going to cast
Nothing.
Armor of
I almost-
Agathis upon herself.
You and Dunnan both, with the cold air around you, pull any flecks of water that still exists in the atmosphere onto yourselves, forming cold shields around your own bodies, and slowly shift and crackle as you move.
Seems that Willem is standing there with a cold ale and a shield. Because nobody seems to want to take it. But, you know,
A minute
that's the way to
passes.
start a battle as well.
2 minutes pass. 3 minutes pass. The air feels like it's getting slightly warmer.
Aeolus is going to walk a quick perimeter check.
Sure. You take a glance around. Doesn't appear to be anything. You can make a investigation or perception check, your choice.
Willem's good in the dark. He would volunteer to help.
Sure. Go ahead and also make a check, Willem.
Investigation or perception?
Yep,
you
your
said?
choice. Yes. You notice there doesn't appear to be anything in the vicinity. You do about 30 feet away from your camp diameter, or 30 feet away from your camp, then you make a large circle with keeping that distance from your camp. Nothing. William, you take a good glance around, like standing on a big platform of dirt that you can, this chairs that you made previously, get a little bit of elevation with your superior dark vision. See nothing. There's grasses that are not moving as the lack of wind. You see Aeolus slowly making this rotation, sort of scanning the ground up close in front of him.
Could I also be following Aeolus and Sorry, no, never mind. I didn't prepare that spell today. Never mind.
Okay.
Out of curiosity, and I'm happy to roll for it.
Mhm.
Does it feel anything like the coldness that, I was running into down in the little crypt spot? Like perhaps I prayed to something and
Seems like cold is cold.
had something come over? Okay. Nothing like spiritual based or anything like that.
No, it feels temperature cold. Yeah. Yeah.
Aeolus will turn back to the group. Well, if that wasn't a great practice run, good on you for keeping your eyes out. Maybe don't shout to everyone to wake us up next time.
I figured it was effective to get everybody.
Oh, it was. It was
Man,
very
I
effective.
was excited about this, and you still got the ale in his.
Yep.
Yeah,
Which
maybe
now
wanna
is
try cold ale.
nice and cold and not frozen anymore.
Siegfried will take a sip. Delicious.
I'll lay back down.
I always keep telling Luca she needs to make things colder. Never listen to me.
Guess we can start our own band somewhere. Of course we couldn't.
Before
Compete
we
with her.
before we resume our long rest, could I check the weather again?
Sure. Same results. It's supposed to be warm. It's going to continue to be warm. No clouds. Sunny. Beautiful.
Yeah, I turned to Aeolus. Either something's affecting my magic, or that wasn't the weather.
I have no doubt in my mind that we are being watched every step we take. I also
Kelly.
have
Sorry,
no
go ahead.
doubt in my mind that the tribe is going through it. And they also will roll over away from the
Before
boat.
before the cold started, I started to feel guilt as well. Perhaps they were connected.
I hope not.
Well, I mean, before we found that troll, you had a dream, didn't you, Aeolus?
Of icy, snowy cold and a forever hunger.
I mean, that seems connected.
Mm-hmm.
Aeolus, you might be our lightning rod in this. Why don't I know it's not really your thing, but perhaps when you're dreaming tonight, try and explore it if you can. Maybe Willem can help you as well. It does seem to be kind of your thing, Willem.
Yes, of course, I would be willing to help.
And I say perhaps your sensitivities might be something to do with your Iron Fang training. If that's the case, we might have insight where your friend could have gone.
Yeah. I hope so.
Just be careful. Dreams are as dangerous as reality here. At least that's what my mother always said.
So you mean that I'll get knocked on my ass and unconscious in my dream, and none of you will be able to save me? Great.
I mean, maybe Willow, honestly. But yes,
That's a good way to put it.
I don't want to be part of your dreams. Sorry. As close as we are, but
well, I don't think Willem can go in your dreams, but at least Willem has experience meditating and expanding his mind. Maybe he can teach you a technique or two, Aeolus.
I'd be up for that.
Well, it's time for me to take the last watch.
Still about half an hour until then.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
Well, Sigrid will just start getting ready for the watch and let Aeolus and Willem get ready for whatever they're going to do.
Okay. A group of you return to your long rest. Siegfried takes over the final watch. You started early in the evening. The sun doesn't start coming up until towards the end of your watch, Siegfried. The very end, last 10-15 minutes, the sky finally begins to lighten.
Sure. If it's going to be dark the whole time, I would cast Dark Vision on myself.
Noted. Okay. You had that prepared from the previous night, correct?
Yeah, that I've had Dark Vision prepared. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I was trying to cast Detect Magic earlier, but I switched that out for Erupting Earth for today. So didn't
Okay.
have it. Yeah.
All right. As you wait, listen, keep an eye out. The air is noticeably warm. The fire is down to embers in the pit, not shedding any light to the surrounding area. No smoke. A well-designed fire pit by Aeolus, obfuscating your position, potentially. Your watch passes quietly, uneventfully. One by one, the group starts to stir and come to consciousness. Willem, after you finished your watch with Hellerast, And you curl back up into bed as the air is starting to get warmer. It's just right. Everything's cozy, comfortable. You nod off. You don't experience any dreams. You hear a voice. Sounds like trying to wake you up. At some point, you don't know how long. Just, it's in faint. It's not worth paying attention to yet.
Rest.
You hear the voice louder, as if right behind you. Not
Do I
by your
recognize
neck,
it as a
but
party member?
high and about, like as if by a tall individual speaking directly behind you. I hear you, my little hatchling. And you sit bolt upright, awake. Everyone else is
Oh,
getting ready for the day.
Okay, so I assume that I recognize it wasn't the party.
He was not one of the party
Mind if I
members.
toss an inside out on that? More for myself than anything.
Sure.
I
You
wonder
have
what
no
that
idea.
was.
I typed it out for you there also.
Sure.
No, you do not
Must-
recognize it.
Must have been a dream.
Everyone else, you're getting ready.
Were we able to complete a long rest?
You were. Additionally,
Even
and in contrast to normal, the group of you do reach a milestone here as well.
look at that. Even Aeolus got a long rest?
Yeah.
I know that's unusual.
I know, right? I don't start the day with exhaustion, y'all.
Yeah. Yeah, your last milestone was level 5, so this is a regular milestone. So you pick up a feat.
You gotta
It's
think that
wondertastic.
out of it, huh?
And while we are doing that, as a group of you come to consciousness with insight on whatever particular thing, let's do a break here as well.
Okay.
Yes, master.
Some
That's fair.
Well, I'd call about 5 minutes, 5-6 minutes or so, and then we'll reconvene and get our feet set up if any of you needed help adding them to your sheet. Alrighty. So Will, we have your feet set up. Anyone else need any help with theirs?
I am all
I'm
set.
good.
Hellerast?
You can look at mine if you want after, and
Okay.
like tell me if I did it right
And
or not.
what was
but
the thing you said about having heavy armor master?
I didn't have it in that last
Oh, because
fight we
you had
had.
picked up heavily armored last level, correct?
Yes,
So to gain the proficiency.
right. Oh,
Uh,
okay, that's good.
Right. That's what you had picked up on the previous milestone before you hit level 5, right?
Yes, correct.
Okay. So, had you increased your strength score for heavy armor, heavily armored?
Let me see. Geez, that's a good question.
I don't think you had, because you had previously had a +4 bonus across the board, right?
Right.
So, between heavily armored and heavy armor master, you go up to 20 strength.
Okay. Ooh, nice. Oh, you know what I'm
Beefy
adding
Sharon.
next time? I'm going for tough next time. Next feat.
There you go.
Damn.
Taking the role of tank seriously.
Yes.
Banner's
and,
gonna feel
uh,
small.
Cannon. Yeah.
Mm,
All we have to do is
I'm
switch
gonna
between
pick
y'all.
up a bow then.
So Siegfried, you're picking up tough, or you're
No.
picking up Brazilian charisma?
No, tough was my previous one, but I picked up Brazilian charisma.
Okay, noted. Sounds
And,
good. And
we
you
have-
made sure
we
to
have
tick that
four-
you have proficiency in the saves, right?
Yeah,
Okay.
I increased my
It-
charisma by 1 and ticked off the proficiency.
You picked up Brazilian Constitution, correct?
Yep.
You cannot pick up Brazilian Charisma. They are the same feat.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. You can. It's the same. So because the feat is just resilient, you can't pick up the same feat multiple times, unfortunately.
So Sam, did you take tough finally?
Oh, why would I take tough?
Why? 20 hit points is
Because
enough.
you have less hit points than your sorcerer.
Aeolus is not Battlefield. And plus, it would only put me to 49.
I'm curious if my feet comes in handy, but we'll see.
No.
Oh, wow. I am the squishiest, aren't I?
You are.
By
Holy
far.
shit.
What
Not
did you
considering
take,
the bloody pup.
The dog almost has as much hit points as you.
And then,
Good
Alright.
boy.
Alright, so that milestone taken care of. Siegfried, if you are trying to make another decision, just let me know if you want any help adding it or anything. But we'll get into the activities for the day. You've packed up camp at this point. You finished packing up, I'll say, half an hour after sunrise. You've completed all of your requisite preparations, spell preparations, and the such. Siegfried, I need you to roll me a d20 to start the day, though.
Sorry, I was just finishing up. I took skill expert instead.
Sweet. I like it. Because that's a bonus to something, proficiency in something, and expertise in something, right?
Yeah, I took the bonus to charisma,
Okay.
expertise in survival, and I get
Nice.
1 more skill, correct?
Yeah, and you get a proficiency in a skill. Do you know how to set the expertise on survival?
Yep, I did that.
On the third page? The
yeah.
gear page? Perfect.
Yep.
whoa, whoa. So
And
what?
I'm gonna take the extra skill in nature.
Nature. Nice. Okay.
So
Very fitting.
what's your plus in survival now?
Should be a 14.
Plus 10.
Oh, plus 10, yeah.
Yeah.
Ah,
Nice.
you're 1 higher than me. Damn it.
And yeah. So now
D20
I can
roll.
I can take a 10 and it'll be a 20.
Okay. And I need a d20 roll from you, please, Siegfried. 4. Okay. Low. Mark off a second level spell usage for yourself, Siegfried. Reason being, you use your dark vision, and you did it at the point of you finishing up the long rest, right at the very tail end of it. And the way that I interpret the long rest is, if you're using something during it, there might not be the chance to use. There's not a definitive moment this exact second when everything refreshes. It's coming back over that rest. So your roll was high, you don't spend it. Low, you spend it. Do you follow me?
Yeah.
As opposed to the idea of, hey, everyone, wake up 5 minutes until the rest ends. Spend your things that have 24-hour, 8-hour duration type of things. You still gain the benefits for the time, but it is a used spell at that point. Okay.
Did Helarast cast her Armor of Agathis early enough to
The
be able to
duration
spell
was
slot
an
back?
hour, and that was before Siegfried's watch, which was an hour. So
Okay,
you're good.
so-
You get this, yeah, you maintain the spell slot.
Okay, thanks.
All right. Setting off. Who is determining your direction?
I will do so again.
Siegfried.
Yep, I will wild shape, go into dragon form, and do a survival check.
Okay, go for it. With your big value. So that's a 20, correct?
Yep, that's a 20.
Nice, very good. Okay. You accurately figure out the heading. Sun's rising, not difficult. Easily enough. Same marching order for the day.
I'm fine where I am.
Okay.
Yeah,
I'm fine.
second.
Perfect. I would like a perception check from Dunnan and Helarast, and perception with disadvantage from Willem and Aeolus, please.
I'll probably be paying less attention to stuff and more back to the whole food thing. But yeah,
On
you
the
said
food-
disadvantage, so
Disadvantage, yeah.
here
So I'll
it
keep in mind that you're
goes.
also specifically looking at food stuff. Still great rolls. Jeez. Okay. The first few
Almost
hours.
like I have expertise in it.
Yeah, the first few hours of your day go quietly. The weather's beautiful. You find a particularly wide sort of game trail going in roughly the same direction that you had figured out, Siegfried, as you set out for the morning. And you were able to follow that quite successfully throughout the first half of the day easily. By about noon, you've transitioned from an area of dense grasses into shrubs and small trees and the like. After another hour or so, you're getting into not quite a forest, truly, but groves of trees. One tree is not more than, say, 30 feet or so from the next. Like all of them are within 30 to 35 feet of at least one other tree. As they become more interspersed, the ground has changed in its composition. Willem, as you're going, you do notice some interesting mosses and lichens upon some of the trees that have sort of grown over time. It's up to you if you want to harvest any of them.
You would, of course.
Sure. Make me a nature check, please. Okay. Took forever for it to show up on my screen. 16. Okay. This is the Voss is sort of a off-green color, and it forms sort of a dense clinging layer over the surface as you sort of peel it, and it pulls more of itself off. It's like an interwoven mat, as it clings to the surface of the bark of some of these trees. You recognize this. It's known as verdant veil. It's particularly useful in forming poultices, and is very good in helping to, in lieu of better options, provide bandages and patches to help coagulate blood and stop heavy bleeding. It is functionally a single use of a healer's kit.
Something that can be preserved, or
Pardon?
is it a short term? Is it something that can be preserved, or is it a short term only?
No, it functions in its current form, and as long as it's not exposed to extreme heat, totally drying it out, meaning not left in direct sunlight for the better part of a day, it'll be preserved quite well.
Okay. I think he would wrap it up and, if possible, put it in one of his vials if it would fit in those.
Not quite a vial. You get a patch about a square foot, like a good harvestable patch of it. But
Okay.
it is functionally a single use of a healer's kit, like be able to wrap around a wound or something like that. Help stabilize someone.
Good. It'll go in a sack instead. Can't leave home without a sack.
Okay. The trail that you've been following is still sort of narrows as you make it into the tree cover here, but easy enough to continue. Let me check your rolls. Haloras, you're very sort of focused on what is going on around you in front, but you find your mind wandering, wondering how many of the clan survived last night, knowing that they probably faced some adversity, hoping that those creatures didn't reappear or were easily held off by the ring of fire. Dunnan, directly behind Siegfried, as you're progressing, you notice a change in the air, and the dog sort of picks it up as well. You see about 2-3 p.m. Dog sort of raises its snout and sort of sniffs there a little bit, and sort of heads off a little bit to the right of where your trail is, the group of you are following at the moment. And then sort of turns and looks at you.
Call out the pup. What is it, boy? You picked up a trail?
Oh.
I'll go over and see what he's trying to show me.
You approach away from the rest of the group, and as you get within about 10 feet of the bloody pup, he sort of bounds off another 30 feet and then turns back and waits for you again. Oof.
Guys, I think he found something. I'll take a quick look. Wait for me here.
Okay, be
No.
careful.
I'll go with the pup.
Okay. You follow this sort of as you approach, get within about 10 feet, bounds another 30 feet away from you, waits for you. It continues to do this. How far are you going away from the rest of the party?
If we see Dunnan going off that way, I would direct the
I
group.
think when I get like to 150 feet, I would call the others. I think it's farther away. We should check it out together.
Yeah, I would lead the group over towards Dunnan.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Start just get in step behind him since he's following his dog.
Okay. You approach the air feels less humid. It's warm, but there's, by comparison to walking through the plains, there's a coolness to the area. The trees are still interspersed. They're not very dense. You follow the dog for better part of maybe 40 minutes. This sort of, it bounds ahead, the group of you catch up, it keeps going. As you progress, is anyone keeping an eye out for anything in particular, or pardon me, and is Dunnan now leading the group, or is Siegfried?
I mean, I would try and stay at least at pace with Dunnan, but I would try and be looking for any sort of trails. Keep trying to pathfind.
Okay. Make me a survival check, please.
Okay. This time I'm gonna pop an enhance ability. Save my last wild shape.
Okay, noted. Very good. So 23. As you the ground sort of shifts and the topography's been adjusting as you go, but as you crest a particular hill, the group of you, you don't see any particular trails, Siegfried. You see a few small game trails here and there that you pick out with your astute sight, but nothing quite like the one that you've been following for the better part of the day. But as you crest a hill, the crumbling ruins of what appears to be maybe an ancient castle or fortress of some type loom into view. Perched within a few different rocky outcroppings and overlooking a small gully that trails away down to the north. The walls that remain are crumbled and tumbled down, and the stones are worn and pitted by unknown years of wind and weather. The castle's towers still sort of stand sentinel, although many are missing upper levels and sides and leaving jagged stumps that stretch towards the sky. Vines and moss cling to the walls, giving the impression that this area is slowly being reclaimed by nature. Wind whips up for a moment, and it's almost like a gasping breath of the wind echoing through this small canyon where the castle is nestled. Empty windows and archways lending movement to the air.
Is this what you wanted us to show us, boy?
Whoa.
This is
You see him
something
bound
to do with this
to the right of you.
talisman.
See him bound to the right of you down the hill. Towards what appears to be a fairly rickety-looking drawbridge. Or bridge, pardon me, not drawbridge.
What do you guys say? I mean, picked up a trail, I think.
This is obviously what we've been looking for. Let's just hope we can get across that bridge.
It does look interesting.
Do you feel anything off it, Willem? Does it feel like the
No, not me.
ruins you were talking about before?
Not me. Concentrate on it. Meditate. I think he would just settle down on the ground and open himself up and see if he can feel anything. I don't know if that's anything I can actually do.
While he's doing that, Dan is trying out the bridge. Let's see if it's sturdy enough.
It appears to be. It's made out of stone.
Mm.
There are some sections that have sort of been knocked away or fallen away during the time that this place has been standing here. But yeah, it is easy enough.
Hillerast would like to cast bones, cross the bridge.
Okay. You mean use your... Ah, there we go.
Yeah,
Just pop
when
up.
we cross the bridge, wheel or woe.
Okay. So what is the specific course of action that... The bridge is only about... let me double check my notes. Bridge is only about 20 feet long. It's over a small gap from the surrounding countryside, like the sort of rocky canyon wall that you're standing at, to the plinth of rocky wall upon which, like outcropping,
Right.
this castle's been built, or was built
Telerast
previously.
isn't worried about the bridge.
Okay.
He's worried about what's on the other side of the bridge.
Okay. So the
Well,
action.
crossing it, yeah.
So the action that you're describing is investigating the interior of the castle.
Right.
Okay. So you cast the bones a moment later, and at that point, then you read the results as you slowly start to collect your pieces again. It is both weal and woe.
Okay. Well, I think we might find something very helpful here, but we've got to be very, very careful.
Oh, it's
There's
one.
something
Aren't
there
we
with
always?
us.
Danen starts walking.
Thing for my time meditating and the building's trying to get my darkness sensor, whatever you would like to call it.
I'll stop Dunnan for a second. Why don't we just wait and see if Willem feels anything?
We're gonna check it out anyway, but alright.
Just give him
So,
10 minutes.
Willem?
What are you doing, Mo?
I was just concentrating, trying to fill out if, there was anything in the castle, if it felt familiar, or
You focus for a
if it
moment.
felt shadow, etc.
If you hear the wind sort of howl through the canyon again. Nothing. Nothing stands out to you. I'm gonna grab the dog.
Okay, guys, I don't feel anything.
See?
Well, Quelly
Oh boy.
can't hurt.
Telerast has cast armor on herself again, just in case.
And we'll go first. Shield raised.
Sure, give me an athletics check then. Easy enough to clear the sort of crumbling bits of the bridge. 2 good steps, you launch yourself after your dog that's already crossed. Easy enough, you land heartily on the far side. And sort of start peering in.
I'd be like, Dunnan, toss back a rope.
The gap's only about 5 feet wide.
Oh, okay. Alright.
Aeolus will step up to Siegfried and pat him on the shoulder. It's not that far of a drop. And he'll cast guidance.
Ooh. Easy enough, Siegfried. I needed athletic checks from the rest of you if you're just trying to leap across. Easy enough for you, Aeolus. You're not at disadvantage. I know you're used to rolling at disadvantage, but you're not.
He's always tired.
And Willem, one from you, please. Willem, are you there?
Willem explodes the bridge. Ha ha ha! I've caught you all. Runs away.
Oh, right.
Yeah, we can't hear Bill if he's talking, but I saw him move his token at the very least.
Aha! Willem stumbles, makes an acrobatics check. Trips and tumbles, but does not fall into the pit below. Where he's able to stand up and sort of dust himself off. Dunnan in the lead here. You see that the crumble sort of entryway has an arch to it that's sort of cracked and fallen down to the ground and sort of half sunken or been buried by refuse and growth over the years. And you can see a large courtyard There's the remnants of walls, maybe stables at one point ahead of you, and you can see the only structure that seems to be relatively intact is a well in the center of this courtyard ahead of you.
The other towers are all fallen in, crumbled.
Pardon?
The towers are all fallen in, crumbled, not
Correct.
no entrance. Okay.
Well, I mean, the interior of these towers is sort of open to the elements. Most of them don't go up about more than about 30 feet or so. They're not like spires. They're a couple floors. The walls themselves are maybe 20-ish feet above the ground upon which you currently stand. Now, if you were in the gulch on any perimeter of this, the walls are probably 35 feet in height. So like it was built on this outcropping to lend natural height and defenses to the rest of the space.
Is there any mentioning of this place on the map?
There's
Do we
not.
know? Oh. Must be old then. Well, let's go check it out. I only see a well in the courtyard, nothing else.
Based on our
And he
luck,
walks in.
probably have to go down that well.
Well, wouldn't be the first time.
Oh, well.
Can I take my nose to the air as we walk through?
Sure.
See if I pick up anything.
Give me a perception check. I'll keep that in mind, Aeolus. Done, and you creep in. The area here seems trodden. The grasses here are and mosses and lichens that are starting to overtake this place have been trampled by something or some things. Seems there's been some people or animals or creatures of some variety traversing this space relatively recently. You're not sure how recently, but enough that the plants have not sort of sprung back.
Can I
Something must
try
have
and
been here
figure out-
recently.
Yeah, can I try and figure out if it could have been our orc hunters?
Make me an investigation check first to identify anything that might be close to a footprint or anything specific for that. And then a survival check after that, if it is successful.
Okay.
Is there
Hey,
any
look.
animal
No,
scat?
I don't think I see any footprints.
Hellrest, you can make me a survival check to look for any signs, animal sign.
Nope.
None that you find. Seems relatively clean. You don't find any sort of tufts of animal hair stuck onto vines or grasses or lichens either. The trampling pattern, we'll call that, leads towards the center of the courtyard, towards the well.
Simple. Is the pup still sniffing the air?
It is. It hasn't barked for you to follow it again yet.
I think the trail leads to the well. It's the only interesting place in here, it seems. I approach the well and look down.
You look down into darkness. Give me a perception check, please. On the edge of your vision, maybe about 40-ish feet down, you see a flickering orange glow on one side of the well.
We see something down there. William, can you make out more? It's just out of my vision. Your eyes are a little bit better than mine.
Yes, let me look. I like the dark. I could always climb down as well.
Let's see from up
But
top
with my,
here first.
do you want me to toss out a perception check there, Master?
Please. So, with your slightly more astute vision, you see that sort of flickering about 40, maybe 45 feet down. It's on one side of the well, the northwest side, where Dunnan's sort of standing, like if directly below him on that quadrant of the circle. But beyond that, you see sort of darkness as it looks like the well opens up. And then you can see a stone floor or beneath it, about 15 feet past that, but no walls touching down to that stone floor.
I see floors, but I think we would have to climb down.
Boy, again.
And tie off carefully.
Yeah, well, first let me make some light, and I'll light the torch and hold it above the well and let it fall down.
Always with the dark or the light. I like the dark. I'm sorry, I missed. How many feet is it down? Is it something I could
About
just
65, maybe 70 feet total, from where you stand to that
misty
floor.
step down there? Oh, never mind. I couldn't.
You can. You'll just fall most of it.
Yeah, I'm not interested in that.
I would start
Shucks.
taking out the 100-feet rope I have and just tie it on the top or some. Does the top of the well look sturdy or?
There is a wooden truss that is across the top of the well. It doesn't look particularly sturdy. However, there is the remnants of a wall, probably that was part of the main keep here. Let me ping it. There we go. Can you see that?
Yeah.
Then you can loop it around. Yeah.
Yeah, I would loop it around them.
Spending about 20 feet of your rope to do so.
Yeah, well, have 100 feet of your rope, so
Right. Plenty.
should be plenty.
Hellerast would like to mention that if there's firelight down there, there's probably creatures down there, and they'll probably hear us coming down the chimney. Should we look for another way down before we just start jumping into holes?
Well, I can help with that, Hellerest. When we go down the hole, I can help us be a little bit quiet. But
No, I can cast Pass Without Trace too, I guess.
yeah, but also the longer we spend looking around, the less time our orc friends have.
That's true. Okay, let's go. Bottoms up.
So do you have Pass Without a Trace?
I do.
Yeah, then Secret. Well, if you can cast, that would be great because I could use I'm running
You
out of
can use the spell
already.
slot, sure.
Yeah.
I don't think that everybody can fit on the rope at the same time, so, but...
Alright. So, Hellerast, you've casted and concentrating on Pass Without Trace. Are you going first?
I'm interested in going first. My
Yeah,
vision is
Willem's first,
probably
but
the best.
I'll go down fast enough that he's within 30 feet of me at all times. Or whatever the...
So that would put both
30
of you
feet.
on the rope at the same time, then.
Rope's
70 feet down.
Okay.
It
I
has
think
done this.
she's just going to put Willem on her back.
Yeah, she's got the strength. She can just hop him down.
Sure. Okay. You can certainly try. So Willem koalas onto Hellerast.
Mhm.
Not a weight on that rope.
You would have had advantage for using the rope. Disadvantage for carrying your half-elf companion. So it's a straight roll. Give me an athletics check as you climb down Hellerast. Not an issue.
No problems.
Okay. So both of you.
I feel like she's doing tricks doing it.
like climbing down the cliffs of insanity. You easily reach the bottom. Um, when the both of you let go of the rope and sort of shake it to give indication, so that way you're not yelling. I'd like a stealth check from both of you. Keep in mind the pass without trace. We have +10. The rest of you can make athletics checks with advantage if you would like as you go down. Nice, Hellerast on trend.
There are numbers in between the extremes.
Yeah. So 19 and 13. Okay. Athletics from Aeolus, Dunnan, and Siegfried, please, with advantage. 18. Siegfried, easy enough to join your companions. Dunnan, you have advantage. Easy enough. Dunnan?
Before heading down, are there any tracks, any footprints that lead away from the well?
There's the
Like,
sort of stamped
way.
in pattern that leads towards this direction that the group of you entered, and towards the direction to the south, which would be away from, with your orientation, which would also be away from the Skyfire clan, technically. Like,
Okay.
north is Skyfire clan, and north on this map is oriented to true north.
Okay. All right. And have I picked up anything with?
You've not. Nothing that seems
Okay.
out of place. I'll phrase it that way.
All right, then Aeolus will make his trek down.
Sure. Athletics with advantage. Easy enough. One by one over the course of, we'll call it 5 minutes, the group of you reach the level. Shift you on position. I'm going to give you a description before you start moving around. Okay. As you enter, those of you who have dark vision, note about 15 to 20 feet below the edge of the well, there's the flickering of firelight. You still have dark vision up, Siegfried. In less than 8 hours.
Oh, no. Okay, I didn't realize that, but my token does not have dark vision.
Okay, noted. I will update that.
No worries.
About 15 to 20 feet from where the well sort of ends and then opens into this cavernous space. There's a rock wall to the left of the map, but spiraling down into a pit that is just vacuous darkness is a small ledge sort of carved along the space. Now, as you enter Hellerast, you see, you and Willem notice this initially, while you're waiting on your companions, the torch there to your south. Let me make it perfect. Once your feet sort of touch the ground, Hellerast, Willem, and you give that indication, you see the other torches throughout the area spark up. One by one, spiraling downwards, illuminated out of nowhere.
Magically,
Seemingly.
as far as I can tell.
You entered and it's like motion detected lights turned on.
Right.
Well, we're probably going in the right direction.
The rest of you also notice, as you enter this space after Hellerast and Willem get over the torches illuminating themselves. This cavern is incredibly cold. Feels like you've walked into like a root cellar.
Seems
I
we are
start
on
to
the right
see there.
track.
and Aeolus, there's the unmistakable smell of iron, blood, that permeates this space.
Air here.
Well, let's go and find them then. I cast Armor of Agassiz on myself. Level 2.
Level 2? Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Oh, it's base level 2, isn't it?
No, it's level 1, but I can upcast it to 2.
Oh, upcast it too. Okay. That's
I will
10
let-
hit points, right?
Yeah.
I will let Dunnan and Heliras take point now.
So, Helaras, you are currently concentrating on Pass Without Trace. I'd like stealth checks from the other three of you that have not rolled it yet. That's Dunnan, Siegfried, and Aeolus.
It'd be nice if Aeolus and Willem would get into the cone of Pass Without Trace.
I don't know why they haven't moved their tokens.
I will stick to the rear. I'm not letting Willem out of my sight.
Willem, what are you doing at this moment? Willem.
Willem got hit by another cup of coffee.
There we go.
I moved him.
Oh,
Okay. So, Dunnan and Helaras are taking point. Siegfried center. Willem and Aeolus bringing up the rear.
yep.
Actually, Siegfried should take point, and I should be in the center as much as possible, I would think.
Okay, that's fine. As long as Dunnan is up front, but Siegfried's okay.
Yes.
Alright. Helaras, I'm going to drop an aura on your token so everyone knows that Pass Without Trace radius. 30 feet, right?
Yes.
Alright. As long as you're within that, you're benefiting from plus 10. So
So
you got a
Dunnan would
14, a
probably move it.
15, a 28, a 13, and an 18. Pretty bad stealth checks. You guys are not a stealthy group.
So Dunnan would probably move at half speed.
Okay.
Just slowly. With the shield raised and I guess it's just spiraling down.
Spiraling down.
Yeah.
I'm going to assume Willem is with us.
I'm assuming as well.
Okay.
Okay.
I can't hear him if he's speaking, but
So I guess we're just walking in the circle.
you approach the next torch that's sort of self-illuminated that Helaras and Willem saw spark into existence. As you approach, Dunnan, with actually your passive perception, you see underneath it, where the torch is sort of stuck into a hole in the ground, that these are about knee height for you. Like the flame itself. They're not set. Not all of them are set up on walls. Some of them are set into sort of holes that have been chiseled into the ground, or cracks and stuff like that. You see set around it, easily enough, a series of runes have been carved in around the torch, the base of the torch.
Siegfried, have you ever seen anything like that?
Yeah. In the past month, have I seen anything like that with my keen mind ability?
Right. With those particular ones, you've not.
Okay.
You can make me a history check though.
Sure.
Not something that you've seen in this past month, but you recognize the runes, somewhat, of a continual flame spell that some of them you don't recognize, but some of them that you do recognize. You're not sure how it was off and then on, as Helarast and Willem noted, but you do notice a continual flame spell.
Yeah, I'll tell Dunnan, the runes look like it's the spell, but I don't know how it got the motion sensing to work. That's something I don't know how to do.
But no trap.
As far as I can tell, it's just the
Oh.
torch.
Okay. Well, then let's move on.
So the runes are carved on the actual torch or on the ground around it?
On the ground around where the torch is.
Roughly how many runes? I'm asking for the purpose of Aeolus copying the
There's
runes.
7 of them.
Okay. Would I be able to copy?
You certainly can.
Runes?
Make me an Arcana check.
Oh boy.
You copy them. To the best of your ability, you know you didn't miss anything that you think is important.
Okay.
Okay. Denon, you're pushing ahead.
Yes.
Okay.
Staying in that radius, just
Alright. You go ahead and move up to the next torch there, Denon, as you progress.
mm-hmm.
When you reach this torch, Denon, I need a dexterity saving throw. Denon,
Sorry.
dex save.
Oh, dex save. Sorry, I was just checking my work phone. Sorry. Oh boy.
Okay.
Nice.
As you stride forward ahead of the rest of the group, approaching, just following, you've gotten into this sense of relative safety, and your foot sort of catches one of the rocks here that sort of drops into itself a little bit, throws your balance off, and you start to go tumbling down. I need an acrobatics check, please. Okay. You manage to catch yourself without going tumbling too far. But you tumble down one level onto the next set of steps. You take, or next part of the sort of ramp. You take 2 points of fall damage. As the sort of rocks slide away underneath you, and a few heavier pieces of rock about the size of your head and one maybe your arm tumble into the abyss next to you.
Oh crap. Well,
Oh, that's certainly
What?
one way down.
well, at least that abbreviates my walking distance a little bit. Be careful.
Can I try and find a path ahead, avoiding this dangerous area on the path?
You are able to. Yeah, as long as you stick close to the wall easily enough.
Okay. And then I
So-
would just keep checking as we go forward if that's like a perception check or something.
Sure. Investigation, please.
So that's the way downwards and that's the way upwards.
Correct.
Right?
Yeah, counterclockwise
So-
is down.
I call up Aeolus. You need to come up here. I can barely see in the dark. Try and find a safe path.
I mean, I'm split because we can all just hop off the edge and be on the same level.
I
Well,
think
I
they
mean,
know
if
by
we-
now that we are here.
I think if we mess up the save, we might just fall into the abyss. But you can definitely try.
I mean, I have something that'll slow our fall.
Well, I mean, I
That
don't
makes
think
it
we should
easy.
jump down there.
I mean, yes, hopping down all the way down would be a terrible idea. Here, let's go.
You proceeding along the same level, Aeolus?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. So, John, as long as you're with them in tandem, you'll still gain the benefits of Pass Without Trace, but you are a level below them.
Just walk along with them.
Okay.
And I think Aeolus needs to do an investigation check.
Please.
Worth it.
Very good. Aeolus, as you proceed, you're keeping an eye out for any cracks or weak points in the stone here and there. You do not notice anything untowards. The only thing that you do pick up on is a few small pools of what might have been water, if not for the cold temperature, here and there. None more than maybe like 3 inches in diameter, like that have just collected in a small divot in the rock, then has frozen over. None of them are very deep, less than a 1/4 inch in depth, you would suspect, but it's just small divots of ice as you proceed.
Okay. And there aren't any, like, blood, anything else indicating that someone was here?
None that you recognize, other than the smell that's pervading the space.
Okay. I'll continue on.
Okay. You can proceed. Dunnan, make me a perception check, please. Willem, you good?
I see your mic going up, but if you're talking, we can't hear you.
No. Coffee overdoses.
Oh no.
I'll just move Willem along. Okay. You do not find anything else untowards Aeolus as you proceed. Dunnan, I'm going to shift your token.
Oh no.
As Dunnan proceeds to the next level. Ramp downwards. So Dunnan, you get a view of an area that's sort of cut out of the wall over here.
Well, I'll just lay very low now and stay still and wait for the others.
And wait for the others. You're not going to proceed any further?
Nope,
Okay.
not for now.
Are we able to see that Tunnan has gotten further away from us?
He's just on the next level down. That's as he proceeded. So that's all. He's maybe 20 feet away, but the rest of you can progress around the area that Dunnan just walked.
Okay.
Okay, I'm gonna shift you guys' tokens. There we go. Okay. You should be able to see, yes?
Yep.
Wonderful.
Yep.
Reaching this level, there's a bridge that sort of spans this wide gap in the center. More torches. Dunnan, you notice that particularly as you proceeded, a light. And as you're waiting for the group and you see them sort of spiraling down towards you, they've sort of tried to keep their bearings on you where you're waiting, because they can see you across the pit. You see up above them, torches that are no longer near them wink back out of existence and go back to darkness.
I'll mention that to the others. Very neat. Somebody is very skilled, it seems, with rune crafting, or at least arcane arts.
I need to learn how to do that.
Well, let's continue So there are two ways to go, right? So one is there and one is down.
Yep.
Is this dead end or?
No, that's further down. This is
Oh.
a like goes down beneath
Ah,
you.
it's a cliff. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay, it's the edge. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, then I will continue further down the path.
All right.
Do we
Objects.
hear anything besides us? Is there any noise? Any? I don't know.
The sounds besides the
What?
group of you? There's only
Pets
one.
or anything?
There's no sounds of any creatures of any sort. The only sound that you hear every now and then is the wind sort of whistling through this space, in and out, like sort of pushed in by the air above, and then other stuff getting pushed out as it winds its way through this cavern. And that's on a irregular schedule.
Okay, so it's unnatural in some way.
As you sort of wind this area down and more torches illuminate, you see a few things. Ahead of you, over to this side, is a door. Looks to be made out of heavy wood and steel. And then across the way is what appears to be maybe a pool of some sort and a bedroll.
Mm-hmm. Mm. I think Daniel would be more drawn towards the door.
Sure.
Yeah. Because the middle thing looks dangerous. It just fell down, so. When peering over the edge, does it look like it goes very far down, or
Out of your sight.
Okay. There's so no way to determine how deep or how far down it goes. Okay.
Not that you're aware of, no. You could.
We could light up a torch and throw it.
You could.
We could.
Before Dunnan goes to the door, I'm saying,
Do we really need to though?
I say, do you think those bedrolls could they have belonged to your comrade, Aeolus?
It's possible, but I would need to take a closer look.
Yeah, I turned to Dunnan. I think you should let Aeolus take a look at that.
Alright.
It seems like there is it curves around over there too, so there is no need to go across this little stone bridge.
So yeah, let's
Through
I
that
mean-
stone bridge.
and just watch for traps, Aeolus.
Move your tokens freely.
Alrighty. Do.
You approach. Next to the door is a brazier that has the same sort of symbols of the flame set into the rim around it. It's being held by a stone
Is there
statue.
a handle or a lock?
On the door, there's a handle and a lock.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
The heavy handle
Well,
you sort
let's
of would
check-
press with your thumb, and a keyhole above said thumb pressing lever.
All right. Well, it seems to be locked. Let's check out the bedrolls first over there.
No, it's not like a padlock. It's just a keyhole. You don't know if the door is actually locked. But...
Okay. Well, maybe Illes, you should investigate the door. I don't trust it.
Sure thing. And I will investigate it,
Sure.
look for traps, or if it's locked or not.
The door doesn't trust you either. Trust me. The door does not appear to be trapped. Is locked.
I would like
You
to try
open
to
it?
unlock it then.
Certainly. Make me a Thieves' Tools check using dexterity. You are working on this for the next about 5 minutes.
Okay.
Unsuccessfully. But your next 5 minutes are working on this lock. Siegfried. Yes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I want to take a look
There
at
we go.
this pool because it's
So-
like man-made, right?
Yes. There are stones set to make this sort of diamond pattern. Ignore the little piece of art on the door on the map that looks like a body. It's not a body in it. But it is this
I just noticed
diamond.
that.
Yeah, this diamond pattern of stones makes this pool. Relatively shallow. It looks like it's maybe about a foot deep or so. The edge is about 18 inches off the ground, but the surface of the water is about 6 inches below that.
Can I see to the bottom, or is it murky?
It's a little bit murky. It also is like frozen over. The surface is covered in ice. You could break up the ice if you wanted.
Yeah, I mean, if Aeolus is... Well, first thing I'm going to do when I come over here is activate Detect Magic,
Okay.
before I get
Um,
ahead of myself.
I will take a look at this crates on the corner if there really are crates.
Okay. They're not really crates. That
Okay.
was a feature of the map.
Okay.
Feature of the map that I had.
Yeah,
So.
no worries.
All good.
And I'll
Detect
take a look at the bedroll. So
that is on the map. Make me an investigation check. Detect magic. Immediately you recognize, Siegfried, the torches are magical.
Mhm.
And there is an aura of necromancy coming from the pool.
I told Dunnan, be careful. I sense necromantic
What?
magic from the water.
Somewhere in the
well.
pool, you're getting an aura of necromancy.
I turn to the group. Should I investigate, or should we leave it alone?
I think we should investigate, right?
All right. Well then,
But how
Siegfried.
do you plan to do that?
Well, we have to melt the ice. Siegfried is gonna try and start melting and breaking the ice with his produce flame if he can.
Okay.
Alos can't hear you right now. He's currently over here cursing himself.
Produce flame. A few heavy blows with the fire in your hand. And the ice is fractured, broken. It's still present, but you're easily able to sort of get at the water underneath. The ice was only about a half-inch thick.
Can I better see where the necromantic magic is coming from now?
You cannot.
Okay.
You gather it somewhere in the pool, but it is getting effectively partial cover, which is obfuscating a true pinpoint from your detect
Okay.
magic.
So,
Like you sense it's
question.
there. It's not total cover, but it's hard to tell
But
specifically.
I know how deep about the pool is, correct?
Based on where your feet are standing on the edge versus the height of the pool and the depth of non-water in the pool, you gather it's about a foot deep.
Okay. Well, I hand Helirast a rope and I tie it around myself. Anything happens, pull me out. And
Sure.
I am going to slowly wade in.
Okay. You wade into the center of the pool, sort of start feeling around.
Yeah.
Make me a perception check with advantage. Takes you not but a minute. By this time, Aeolus has finished cursing after he's broken one of his lockpicks. You find a small bundle, Siegfried, and this seems to be the source of this magic, and you pull it out. It's
Yeah. I
wrapped
get out
up
of
fabric.
I get myself out of the water and I start looking through it.
Okay. You unfurl it one flap at a time. Heavily wrapped leather. You recognize this as a sort of hunter's pack, something that would be used to store meat and waterproof it such that it's not going to spill and drip out. It's waxed leather and canvas. As you unwrap layer after layer, and you have to cut some of the twine and ropes that are used to secure everything. as it's too wet to undo. Eventually, you unfurl part of the flap, and spilling out from the interior of the pack is a series of bones.
Do they
And
match the
you-
brushed deer bones that we found earlier?
No.
Okay.
As some of them spill out ahead, and you just lean into it and dump the rest of them out. Make me a medicine check, please. You examine the bones. These are humanoid. This is a skull. Can't quite place what it is, though.
And Siegfried will just swear in Dwarvish and say, "This is humanoid."
Yeah.
Do I still sense the
Are we dealing with
necromantic
a
magic?
necromancer here?
Yeah.
You do sense the necromantic magic. These bones are impregnated by it. All of them.
Did I find anything at the bedroll with my 11?
You do. The bedroll, as you sort of sift through the blankets, there are a few stains upon what would have been the base layer that someone would lie upon before putting the blankets over themselves. There's one about where a taller individual's foot would be, like based on the length of the bedroll. That is deep crimson. It looks like a pretty hefty blood stain. That's sort of been dried and then frozen, or like dried into the bedroll. It's not quite frozen in the same way. There's a crispness to it, but that's it. There's another stain, about where the top of the torso would have laid. Shoulder, maybe, neck, bottom of the head, somewhere in that general vicinity, near where you would bundle up your own clothes to make a pillow. There's another stain. That one is frozen like ice.
Did you find
Really
anything?
weird.
Uh,
Well, Siegfried found bones wrapped in some waxed leather in that pool, and that bedroll seemed to be stained with blood and frozen blood. Any luck with that door?
Bill, are you back? Are you there?
Bill,
Bill.
I think he.
If Bill's back, Siegfried would call over. Willem, do you get anything off these bones? They've been infused with necrotic magic. It's out of my expertise.
You're muted, Willem.
Yeah, sorry. Yeah, I would go over there
Sure.
and just see if I get anything out of it.
Sure, make me a medicine or arcana check, your choice.
I haven't made either of those in this game.
Okay.
And that would probably be why.
As you sort of take a look through them, you feel that there's some energy suffusing them, but you're not quite able to place it. You notice what Siegfried pointed out with his spell, but not much beyond that.
I feel something, but I couldn't tell you what it is.
Aeolus, make me a medicine
Sorry.
check. Or survival, your choice, Aeolus.
Oh, whoops.
Go ahead with survival if you want, if that's better. I assume you would take the one that you have the better venison. As you sort of walk over towards the bedroll and Dunham points this stuff out to you at that moment, you recognize with your sort of training, one of them is significantly older and was likely made before whatever cold this thing was exposed to, the bedroll was exposed to. And then the other one, the stain on the upper side of it, towards the top of where someone would lay with their torso. That one was made in the freezing cold. That's stinging.
Is there anything else that's in the bedroll?
Within the bedroll, no.
All right, so it looks like we have two different time frames for each of these stains.
Seems
And
like we're not
Aelith
alone down
pointed
here.
out.
Meaning what? Two different persons, or just two
Somebody
different
like
wounds?
sleeping
or-
with blood.
One that was made before it got frosty, and one that was made after.
So, what do you think is the more recent one?
I assume the frosty one.
Yeah.
You can all see your
Make for-
breath in front of your mouths as you speak in this space.
We should be highly on guard.
Can Bones for a moment.
Yeah, I hand him over to Aeolus. Well, they're just on the ground right now. They're just kind of spread out.
All right.
Okay.
Aelus is gonna try something that's rather new to him.
Sure.
Aelus is gonna cast Sacred Flames on the bone.
Okay. Put the description of Sacred Flame up. As you try to focus on these bones as as a thing and you evoke this judgmental magic upon them, there's no flames that sort of spark up. It's not. They do not seem to be a sentient creature of any type.
Okay. That's what I thought, but Aeolus wouldn't know any better.
No. Do you do anything else with them?
I would like to look over them, see how old, see.
Sure. Make me investigation or medicine, your choice. Investigation. You notice two things. With a roll like that, most of its skeleton is here. Some of it looks like it might have been fragmented beyond sort of the ability to put back together. The skull, part of it has been sort of smashed in, including the jaw, but you are able to find those pieces. This is the skeleton of an orc, as you note the tusks. The bones.
Does it look roughly like a 15-year-old, or the
It does
age
not.
range of the orc?
No, it's
Okay.
quite tall, 6.5 feet. If this person were alive, at least 6.5 feet in height. Based on your guess. There are some breaks in these bones. One of the breaks is in what you think to be one of the leg bones. The lower leg. A sort of twist like a cone. There's a snapping motion. And it's conical, the break, as it sort of rotates around.
Okay.
And you also find tool marks, edges around some of the vertebrae.
Mm.
So they were tortured.
Other bones have different breaks in them, snapped by tension. If you took pasta and snapped it by bending it, Most of the long bones are broken in such a way, except for this one down. That was one that you suspect based on how you put everything back together, based on one of the legs. This time pass without trace has expired as well, as putting this all together does take time. You have about half hour of armor of Agathis left done.
You know,
Okay.
yeah. You remember that fight during the night? There were some undead that were reassembled or looked like they've been stitched together. I think some bones have been taken from those corpses there. I mean, it makes sense seeing those tool marks.
Looks like some edge of something had like bit into some of the vertebrae.
But why reassemble them? Why not just use the corpse itself if you're a necromancer?
Perhaps you're not happy with how they were when they were alive.
Hmm.
Aeolus
did-
will undo up the bones.
Okay.
I think we should continue. I'm afraid we're gonna find some ugly stuff down there.
I agree.
Wheel and woe. Wheel and woe.
Well, we made a promise to stop it.
Yes, we did.
I think we should
Oh,
try and
we
look for
will.
this door too before we go on.
Well,
I will leave that up to one of you. I can't fucking
Um,
figure it out.
I'm not proficient with. I have two big hands to try to mess with that lock.
All
I
right, then.
can try to bash it in, but that will not be quiet.
Well, let's see if we can find the key somewhere. Let's go ahead then.
Can we try to heat the lock?
I think metal is pretty resistant to
Yeah.
heat, unless you reach very high degrees of.
And we might just
heat.
break the lock too.
Well, if it reaches a melting point, then there's nothing for the lock.
No, yeah, I'm saying I don't think we have any spell that reaches high enough to straight up melt it. But maybe,
Bullshit.
yeah. I think if we tried, we would just break the lock and make it harder to open.
I think we should first take care of whatever is down there, and then we can figure out to open the door later.
Okay.
So, Aeolus, you said you bundled up the bones back in the bag that they were in?
Yes.
What are you doing with that bag?
Aeolus is going to Aeolus is gonna put it onto the bedroll. He doesn't want to put it back in the pool.
Okay, onto the bedroll? Sure.
Yeah. And then as we make our way down, Aeolus will stop Siegfried briefly, and will hand him a bit of folded up parchment. If anything happens, then open this. You'll know what to do.
Sorry, you were talking to me or who?
Yes.
Okay. And
So-
what were you handing?
So Aeolus takes out a few pieces of folded parchment that are like tied, and he hands them to Siegfried.
Okay.
And he goes, "If anything happens, you know what to do." And he hands over the parchment.
Okay. As he's handing it over to me, does it ding anything on my detect magic?
It will not, no.
Okay. I'll just shrug. I'm not sure what a few pieces of parchment will do, but I'll trust you.
You proceed.
Calarast is confused about what anything could be.
So you proceed further downwards, spiraling into darkness. You see the lights above you that Dunnan now pointed out sort of wink out, and a single source down beneath you. Bright, glowing, sort of rippling, bluish, purplish, closest to its center, and then radiating out to the oranges and yellows further away from it, set onto this stone plinth. You finally reach the floor. No more pit of dirt and stone. You see away from you about 50, 60 feet on the far side, the southern wall, this stone plinth. And the only area of worked stone in this entire space.
I am going to start to sniff the air to see if the smell's gotten stronger.
It has.
If it's able to.
It has gotten noticeably stronger. And it has gotten noticeably colder.
Be on your guard. I'll make my... Oh, look. Oh. Siegfried, is there anything up with this?
I'm checking the range of detect magic right now.
30 feet outside of your range.
Yeah, I think I have to move up. I was gonna put an aura on so I could see exactly how far it goes.
It's 30 feet, yeah.
Yeah. So
Let's
I would
be
try
very
and
careful.
approach it and get it in the edge of my detect magic.
It
So
is
right up there.
evocation and necromancy.
I tell that to the group.
Dunnan, off to your right, the left of the map, there's a stone wall. It doesn't look like it extends all the way, but there is a natural sort of arch through that stone, and you can see to the other side. That just looks like more cavern and stone beyond.
Is it safe to approach?
Definitely not. Definitely not. At least don't touch it.
All right, I'm going to kill your aura, Siegfried, so we can see the map reasonably.
So, what now?
I mean, I can try and dispel it from here.
I think that's the best bet. And then if not, we smash it to pieces.
Okay.
Do you think it's the source of this cold?
Definitely feels like it. If it's evocation magic, definitely has something to do with the cold.
Whatever we do, we don't put our hands on it. And Aeolus will spin and we'll look at Willem.
Alright.
Dispel it, try, or at least try to.
I will try to dispel it.
Okay, noted. Dispel magic. So that's 3rd level. You should make me a wisdom ability check, please.
Okay.
Would I be able to cast guidance on this?
Make me an arcana check.
Da, 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 da.
It does not work.
I would say you're not quite as familiar with Dispel Magic as it's a new trick that the group has recently gained access to know enough that it's going to require an ability check. Quite yet.
Okay.
You focus, Siegfried, on Dispel Magic, just trying to remove whatever this flame that's sort of flickering and rippling in the space ahead of you. And you can see the air is sort of distorted as you focus your magic on it, trying to contain it, and then the distortion vanishes. You're unable to dispel it.
All right.
So did it work?
Definitely not.
You want to try again?
So I'm up to
Yeah.
smash it.
Let me just try one more thing.
Do we have ice?
No,
Anything?
no. Let me. So it's a wisdom check. I will enhance ability myself this time.
Okay. Are you concentrating on anything else at the moment, or no?
No. Detect magic.
All right. Detect magic goes down. Enhance ability, wisdom.
Yep. Wisdom.
Okay.
I don't know if I should use my last wild shape or not.
Don't use too much energy on it. We might need you, whatever happens then.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, worst comes to worst, we just have Willem walk up and slap it, because I know.
When you start talking about Willem, Siegfried uses his wild shape and goes into dragon form.
Sure.
Oh, no. Oh, no. That
And
was out of character.
no, yeah, but it's still he starts thinking about it. This is important, so Siegfried would go all out on it.
Sure. Go ahead and make me another wisdom ability check with advantage.
And then I'm casting Dispel Magic again.
Yeah.
And I can't get below a 10
Okay.
right now.
Sounds good. Advantage and a minimum.
Natural 20 or natural 1. No in between. Oh.
All right. 14. 14 is sufficient. As you focus and kind of force this magic sort of back in on itself, almost like you're coalescing it into a single dot, the light winks out of existence. Let me move the dynamic lighting. Left like that orangish, purplish, blue flame vanishes. Ignore the fact that there's still something on the map. But as it vanishes, a greenish blue light appears off to your left, the right of the map, here, and sort of walking, sort of out of a cavern, sort of blinking, bleary-eyed. You see the semi-translucent form of an orcish man, about 6 feet, 5'10", burly, strong, a longbow sort of strung across his back, and an empty quiver at his hip. What a... Oh. You finally found us. Here to help? We'll
Yes.
pick up there next session.
Oh, I didn't realize the time.
Oh,
All right.
Okay.
oh boy. It
No.
spelled it, or did anything
Yeah.
change
No, he dispelled
immediately?
it.
Yeah,
No.
I
Okay.
dispelled it, yeah.
No. So
Yeah, but did anything change in the area besides the?
nope, just the light. The light vanished.
Okay. You just dispelled the torch.
Dispelled the torch.
Yeah,
No.
yeah.
There was
All
necromancy.
the
He
torches were
confirmed
just
there
out
was something other than.
Yeah, there was,
than-
and I've Siegfried has also seen an eternal flame before, which
Yeah.
he did dispel.
Yeah.
So he would know if it was just
yeah,
another
it's
eternal.
something beyond just an eternal flame.
Yeah.
So
And as far as I know, dispel magic gets rid of all the effects on an object, not just one.
No.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's why I did it.
alrighty.
Well,
Well, we'll pick up there next
I'm
session. See
excited
what
for
happens.
next week.
Yeah.
GG.